Florida was built on sunshine, confidence, and the belief that the party would never end. But what if I told you the glow of the skyline was hiding a slow-motion disaster? Miami-Dade, once the crown jewel of the American housing boom, is now the epicenter of something darker. A market in freefall, a government scrambling for control, and tens of thousands of homeowners staring down the barrel of financial ruin. This is not a forecast. It's happening right now. And it may be the biggest warning Florida has ever seen. Local budgets are bloated again, swollen by short-term greed and decades of bad memory. In southeast Florida, especially Miami-Dade County, the numbers no longer lie. More than 19,000 homes now sit unsold, gathering dust. Foreclosures are rising, rents have dropped for the first time in years, and sellers are pulling listings off the market faster than they can print for sale signs. It's déjà vu, mid-2000s all over again. Except this time, the trigger isn't subprime loans. It's something deeper. Overconfidence colliding with economic gravity. Even Florida's governor has been forced to call emergency legislative sessions to stop the bleeding. The housing dream has become a policy nightmare, and the cracks are starting to show. To understand the collapse, you have to remember how insane the boom was. In 2020 and 2021, Miami's housing market went nuclear. Remote workers, retirees, and hedge fund cash flooded in like a financial hurricane. It wasn't just a regional trend, it was global mania. People from New York, LA, and London fought over condos they'd never even seen. Deposits wired off virtual tours. Entire buildings sold out before the first shovel hit dirt. Developers bragged about bidding wars that broke records every week. Homes sold for 10%, 20% over asking. Buyers waived inspections and paid in full with one click. For a while, it felt like paradise. Miami was no longer just a city. It was an idea, a promise that the party never stops. But promises don't pay mortgages. By 2022, inventory hit an all-time low, just 6,376 homes across the Tri-County region. It was a feeding frenzy, and like every feeding frenzy, it left nothing behind. Fast forward to 2025, and the silence is deafening. More than 19,000 listings hang like ghosts over Miami. Sales volume has collapsed to under 1,800 deals per month, down over 50% from the peak. Condo sales, even worse. This isn't just a slowdown, this is paralysis. Brokers describe entire neighborhoods as frozen, no movement, no buyers, no confidence. And the most brutal stat of all, for every 100 homes listed, 59 are pulled off the market before selling. The highest delisting ratio in America, triple Phoenix, double Riverside. Miami's once unstoppable growth engine has stalled. The sunshine economy just ran out of light. The roots of this disaster go back to a single horrifying moment. June 24th, 2021. 1:22 a.m., Champlain Towers South collapses in Surfside, 98 lives lost in seconds. That tragedy didn't just take down a building, it shattered the illusion that Florida's towers were safe. In response, lawmakers did what lawmakers always do after disaster. They overcorrected. They passed sweeping inspection laws and required condo boards to fully fund reserves for structural repairs. The goal was safety. The result was financial carnage. Condo owners suddenly faced assessments of $50K, $75K, even $100 KL per unit. Some were told to pay in full within 6 months. Retirees living on fixed incomes opened letters that might as well have said, "You can't live here anymore." Buyers vanished. Lenders like Fannie Mae blacklisted buildings without reserves. Entire zip codes became untouchable for financing. Downtown Miami's glittering skyline turned into a museum of unsellable glass. With financing frozen, desperation spread. Associations begged for state loans. The funds ran dry in weeks. Thousands were left hanging. Meanwhile, insurance premiums exploded. What once cost $2,500 now runs $7,000, $10,000 a year for coastal units. Carriers fled the state, leaving homeowners scrambling for any policy they could find. Added up, a $12,800 mortgage, $1,200 in HOA fees, $500 in insurance. That's $4,500 a month just to exist. Owning in Miami now costs more than luxury renting in Manhattan, and even those who can pay are asking if it's worth it. Wall Street, and the same force that once inflated the bubble, is quietly leaving. Title records show LLCs dumping units across Brickell and Sunny Isles. Developers walking away from pre-construction deposits. Entire floors of luxury towers sitting empty. Population data now shows net outflow, more people leaving Miami-Dade than arriving. Teachers, young families, even mid-career professionals are migrating north to Tampa and Orlando. Schools are shrinking. Local businesses are losing their weekday crowds. And the once booming restaurant scene now closes early because half the diners moved away. In January 2025, the governor convened an emergency session, cameras rolling, tone somber. He admitted what insiders already knew. Florida's own safety laws and insurance market have strangled its housing economy. But one session won't fix 2 decades of neglect. You can't legislate away rust, rot, and retreating investors. You can't rebuild trust with press conferences. Miami's towers still need billions in repairs. Insurance companies still won't return. And families still can't afford to live in the very state that promised them prosperity. The numbers tell the story. Median home price down to $495K from $540K just 3 years ago, the first sustained year-over-year decline since the Great Recession. It's more than correction, it's reckoning. The pain is spreading, and it's rewriting what the Florida dream means. The question isn't if Miami recovers, it's who survives long enough to see it. For years, Florida sold the world a vision: palm trees, profit, and permanence. But the truth is simpler and harsher. Every boom carries its own collapse inside it, waiting for the right conditions to crack. Miami's reckoning isn't just about property. It's about overconfidence, policy negligence, and the illusion that sunshine makes you invincible. Because the water always rises, the bills always come due, and in the end, even paradise has a price.